In the beginning, when I started writing, it was in a way an advantage to not know too much about literature because I was writing in a very spontaneous way, not really knowing what I was doing, and no references that could become obstacles, which when I started writing my second novel, that was very different because suddenly I was aware of the fact that people were actually going to read it, and I was also more aware of what had been written already, and this can be an obstacle at times. It's something you have to free yourself from once you're making progress in a novel. I've often talked about this with other writers as well, and they all said the same thing, you know, like this spontaneity and this sense of discovering the pleasure of writing you have while writing your first novel. It will never come back. It's true. Having been a musician for a long time and writing songs for a long time before I started writing novels, I think that music has been more important to my writing than novels or other writers. I was, for instance, always a big fan of Elvis Costello, and I think that the way he writes song lyrics and the rhythm it has and the images he creates in song lyrics have been much more of an influence to me than any other novel, and also writing songs myself has, I didn't know it at the time, but in hindsight you could say that it has helped to develop my style as a writer, because when you write a song you have to tell the story in like 2 verses and a chorus, so you need to be really efficient and try to create an image that means something in 2-3 sentences, and I think that has been a really good practice for me, even though I wasn't realizing this at the time. Well, I don't care too much, I guess, if people think I write high literature or low literature. It's not a goal in itself for me. Writers are often not happy when they sell a lot of books and have a lot of success. They want, actually what they want is critics or literary prizes to love them, and when they win literary prizes or have good reviews, they're not happy because they're not selling enough. While, you know, I don't care. As long as people read my books, I don't mind too much in which what the label is that they put on it. It's a little game in that novel because Ivo Victoria is not my real name. It's my how do you say that, publishing name. So even though the main character in the novel is telling the story in first person and is called Ivo Victoria, you could also say that's not really me, because my name is not Ivo Victoria. So there is this game with fact and fiction that is like a second layer in the novel, and is actually an important theme in the novel as well, because the main character is a liar. He's a obsessive liar. And it starts out as a little boy who tells his best friend a ridiculous lie about having won the Tour de France for the under-12s, but then his life develops into a series of lies up to the point where he can no longer see the difference between his reality and his own fantasy. And I guess, yes, in a kind of some ways this character is very similar to me. In other ways, I'm not an obsessive liar at all, and I've fictionalized a lot of facts and changed a lot of things to make the story bigger and to you know. But I've always been, I guess, someone who was making things bigger in his head, and you know, my fantasy can sometimes get a hold of me. So that, and that's always been like that, also as a child. So in that way, there is some similarity. Yeah. No, not at all. I like talking about my work. I like to interact with the readers or with whoever wants to talk about it with me. It helps me a lot as a writer. Even while I'm writing, I tend to have excerpts of the novel. Even in early stages of the writing process, I have people reading them, and not to see if they like them or not. That is not so important to me, but more to see what they think about it, what it makes them feel, and then they start talking about it to me, and it gives me a lot of input, which gets my mind working again. And it's always interesting to hear what people have to say about it.